And welcome. Good morning. It is Sunday. Happy International Women's Day. It's March 8th. It's International Women's Day. And we're here with you on the Sunday Sports Show right here on the Inside Edge Network. Brought to you by LPV Productions. And of course, our network-wide sponsor, Alley Rose Fragrances. Please, while you're watching the show today, maybe during a break, visit allyrosefragrances.com. Use our network code, Inside Edge 20, capital I, capital E. It's all one word, Inside Edge 20 for 20% off your entire order. It's for all first-time customers. So, please go see Alley Rose Fragrances and get yourself some really, really good smelling candles, some body mists. Just take a look around on her website. She's got some amazing products. Everything's handmade right in Charlotte, North Carolina, right here in the U.S. Small business, vegan, cruelty-free product. It's just that everything good is what this company is. So please visit Alley Rose Fragrances and use our code Inside Edge 20. Guys, it's Sunday. We made it to somehow another Sunday. Made it to another week. Ryan, TK, you guys have a good week, man. What's going on? How you guys doing?
Doing good, man. Good, man. Just getting through having this newborn. My wife's starting going back in the office on Monday, so I'm going to have 3 kids, 2 toddlers and a newborn by myself all day, so that'll be fun. But, we're going to get through it. It's going to be an adventure. So,
all right. So if you're out there,
I'm not nervous at all.
if you're out, send help. Ryan Mosser needs help.
That'll be good.
We'll pop up an address for you later on, so you can just pop by and make sure he's okay.
I was fine with the 1. I was fine with the 2. I'll be fine with the 3. So
you'll be great, man. You're a great father.
She wants 4, so God help me.
At that point, you may need some help. You may need some backup.
You need a stick to get her off me. That's what I need. Sorry.
Well, I mean, right when you have it like you come on, man. What are you gonna do, right?
Sorry, not trying to complain about a good situation here.
No complaining. TK, you doing okay? I saw you yesterday, TK. But you doing okay, man? How you been doing the last 24 hours?
Doing all right, man. Currently nursing a very bloody leg. Got a garbage bag on, so doing all right. Trying to remain dry and just hold this thing out and see what we can do tomorrow.
All right. Well, are you okay? I mean, what
did you get shot? Did you rob Eli?
No. It's just it's a wound on my right thigh. There's like a lot of pussing going on, a lot of bleeding. So like everywhere I go, I bleed like crazy, or spot all over people's floor, and I hate doing it. But since I adopted this new garbage bag thing, I don't leak anymore. So.
All right. Well,
I don't know how to respond to that, but I'll pray for you.
Yeah, it's really
leak free on this. All right. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
I'm good. We're ready.
Dude, look how many viewers we got right now. By the way, that's awesome. 113 at the start. We're ready to go.
It's the leak factor, I think, is what brought him in. Listen, so hey, it's the Sunday leak show. We're going to talk about some stuff today. We're gonna leak some information about the Celtics and Cavs. They're coming up a little bit later, about maybe about the time we get off. They play at 1:00 today. That's in Cleveland, and we're actually going to bring my co-host from Inside Edge Primetime, Eli Moon's going to come in and talk some Celtics and Cavs with us. So we'll bring him on in just a moment. We'll talk a little bit of World Baseball Classic. The U.S. won last night. It took a little while to get the offense going, but I think that happens. I think pitchers have such a huge advantage this time of year. Everybody's just getting going or whatever, but it's hard to get your timing down a little bit, right? Don't tell Shohei Ohtani that, though. I saw yesterday before the game, he was at like 833 with 2 home runs in their first 2 games for Japan. That was wild. It's like looking at Little League stats, but then again, sometimes he makes it look like Little League, so that's fun too. We'll talk a little bit of NFL, just a lot of movement in the NFL. We're coming up on the legal tampering period. We've got the league new year or whatever. Happy NFL New Year. I think that's next Wednesday. So all these moves that we're seeing will become official. It's crazy that you can, make the moves before whatever. That's the NFL's crazy. So we'll talk about some of those moves and talk about anything that we maybe wish the Browns would have been in on, or maybe that they might be in on, or whatever. And then we'll talk a little bit of Ryan Mosser's big board. We're going to talk a little bit of offensive linemen today, post combine. We're going to talk DBs, defensive backs, not people we don't like. So we'll talk a little bit of corners and safeties and things like that. And then we will get to just at the end of the show. We're gonna talk a little bit. Ryan, I want to get your take. I saw you comment yesterday, and I appreciate it. For some reason, when you comment, are you in like another time? Are you a time traveler? When you comment, it comes in like 4 hours before we start the show. I don't understand that. It says like 7:30 a.m.
I don't know, man. Yeah, that's weird.
I love the pre-comment. I love the fact that you just know what we're going to talk about before, and you pre-comment. That's amazing. I'm impressed by that. And then like I said, I'm going to get your take on the whole Miami of Ohio 31-0 situation, and no one's giving them any credit. I know they have a schedule strength of schedule isn't quite there, but I think it's impressive at any level, really, to go 31-0. So we'll talk about them, and then we'll talk a little bit later about what's on our minds. But first, let me bring in my co-host from Inside Edge Primetime. You can catch us Monday through Thursday at 10 o'clock. I'm going to bring in Eli Moon right now, and we will get to a little bit of Cavs-Celtics. You guys want a Brady bunch, or do you want to go? You want to stack up side by side?
Man, it's your guys' show, so you guys make
this up side by side. Let's do this. Let's get in here nice and tight. We're gonna get our faces in here. It's very warm suddenly. All right. Well, hey, Eli, welcome to the show. It's good to have you. You have not been on the Sunday Sports Show yet, have you?
I have not. This is my my first time, and I appreciate you guys having me. I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely. Listen, don't be nervous. It's like sports any other day of the week. It's just Sunday. It's no big deal. So, like I said, the Cavs are going to take on the Celtics today. It's in Cleveland. Celtics are 42-21. They just beat who'd they beat last night? They beat Dallas, right? Cavs are 39-24. Cavs are like the walking wounded, man. So I think the first thing we got to talk about is first of all, out today. We got Jared Allen out, Tyrese Brock out, Max Strus is out. We know that with the foot. That's no problem. He's coming back. He's working his way back. All signs point to him coming back and possibly being ready for the playoffs. I think it's going to be tough to get his legs under him. I'd say that's a process, right? It takes a couple of weeks to get NBA ready as far as the legs go, but we'll see how that goes. Questionable is Jalen Tyson today, so we don't know if he's going to play. But the good news is it's okay. I have good news because probable Donovan Mitchell and Dean Wade are going to be out there today. You would think Donovan Mitchell's going to play. So that all being said, let's get back to my Celtics and Cavs. Okay, so this is an important game standings-wise. And I think a lot of people are looking at this as like a preview of like, okay, if the Cavs and the Celtics play in the playoffs, this is what it's going to look like. I don't necessarily think that's the case. I think the Cavs have too many guys out. I don't think you can really say like, well, hey, whatever happens today is going to happen in the playoffs. But standings-wise, it is very important. So, Eli, I'm going to start with you because you're the guest, right? We'll let you go first, and then we'll never let you talk again. So you get one chance. That's it. But, I mean, so how important is this game to the Cavs? I mean, obviously they want to move up in the standings. I don't think we need to look at it as a playoff preview. Like, okay, well, if the Celtics come in here and beat us, 120-90, that's it. I mean, the Cavs are, they're done. They're going to, first round exit, whatever. Not even going to make it to the second round this year. I don't think there needs to be the doom and gloom, but it is important for the standings, right?
Yeah, not doom and gloom, Chad, but I think this is a very important game for the Cavaliers. This is at home. This is very close to the playoffs. This game was happening, say, January or, even earlier in mid-December. Yeah, nobody would, freak out. But I think with this being so close to the playoffs, this is a very important game for the Cavaliers. Donovan Mitchell obviously being probable. He's been nursing that groin injury for the last week or two. So the fact that he's going to come back here and possibly play today, that tells you that this is a big game. So Donovan, James Harden, this is going to be their first look really against this Boston team that with Jason Tatum back, this is your closest thing to a playoff matchup you're getting in March. And I think with it being in Cleveland, it's so important that the Cavs get this W. I especially with the standings, Chad. I mean, if they win today, they're 2 games back in second place. You get a chance to possibly play a play-in game, or a play-in team, the 7th seed if you get to that 2nd seed. So you get an extra game out of a team. And I mean, anything matters when it comes to like, the war of attrition and getting that the fresh legs. So I think that's going to be important for the Cavaliers.
I think the hard-hitting question, and I'm just going to say it, Hustle Hard says, why so much zoom on the stash? And if you could see our vertical preview, I don't know. Listen, Hustle Hard. It only does that on this show. I don't understand. It's like.
Oh, I see it over there. Okay, I was
close up, man. So it's like you got to make sure your mustache game is strong today. Hustle Hard. I have no idea. I don't know. That's clearly the important question when it comes to Cavs-Celtics today. Is why are we featuring our mustaches so closely on the show?
It's Boston versus the stash, the Cleveland stash.
That's it. We don't know. So anyway, we appreciate you watching, but yeah, I don't know what's going on with the Zoom. So hopefully we'll get that figured out. If not, just whatever, get used to our mouths. So I don't know. I think you bring up a good point. Standings wise, I think it's important. I mean, TK, you got the Cavs hat on. I'm gonna let you go next, man. Are you looking at this as just no? He said sorry to get off topic. Hustle hard. No, that's the topic actually. I think that's the topic is just mustaches today. That's the whole show. TK, I mean, do you feel like just important for the standings, or do you think like I don't know? Is this a playoff preview? Whatever. I mean, if the Cavs come in and blow the Celtics come in and blow the Cavs out, does that worry you, or do you just go? I mean, we're working through injuries. We don't even have Max Strus out there yet. I mean, I pump the brakes and let's just let's get to the playoffs and see what happens. Or I don't know. Where are you? Are you somewhere in the middle on this? I mean, what do you think?
Too dramatic. I don't want to be too dramatic about this, but seeing as the fact that we've already lost the previous two matchups to the Boston Celtics, I do think this is a very important game for us, especially with April rapidly approaching. We do have guys coming back. I do understand that. Not everybody is still here, but we have made moves within the last time that we have played the Boston Celtics. So we need to go out there and assess whether or not the moves that we made within the time frame of us last playing them have made any difference. I do think this is important not only for the standings but for playoff seeding as well.
Yeah.
I do think that the Cavs need to do quite a bit more winning, especially being at the fourth spot. I don't think that fourth spot is solidified yet with a 39-24 record. So I do believe that they will try to win this game. However, I do see a different shift in the Celtics. Granted, I don't want to get too carried away over a win over Dallas, who isn't too far off from the 5 tanking teams currently in the NBA: Brooklyn, Utah, Washington, Indiana, and Sacramento.
Yeah.
However, I do think the return of JT is going to springboard them to a pretty dominant finish. He looked really good against the Dallas Mavericks, 15, 12, and 7. So I'm a little nervous about this game. Do I expect it to be a good game? Absolutely. Is it one that I expect us to win? Be quite honest, I don't think it's going to be that easy.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I realized at the top of the show I said last night, and I guess I forgot about Saturday. Wasn't last night, it was Friday night. That's a great point. For some reason, I thought it was Saturday morning. Even though I said welcome to the Sunday Sports Show, I still thought it was Saturday. So the question, Brian Monster, let me ask you is, as you look at that vertical preview, who has the best mustache? No, that's not the question. I don't know. Where are you? Are you just kind of watching the Cavs to see how they progress through these injuries? Or do you want to see them go up and battle the Celtics and like kind of, maybe prove that they're back a little bit? I mean, the rough start to the season was, it is what it is. We can't do anything about that now. And again, they're probably not going to make up enough ground to get to that 1 seed. I mean, we know that. But they're also sort of just right there on the outside of, maybe possibly sliding up to the 3 or the 2 or the 1.8, whatever. Just how are you, like, when you watch this game today, like, how do you plan on taking it in? Is it just like go compete and see where we are, or we have to dominate the Celtics and prove, we're the Cavs?
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be a domination by either team, right? I mean, the fact of the matter is, the state of this Cavs team right now, they're grinding through injuries still. They're still reshuffling lineups. They haven't practiced much together at all since they acquired James Harden. They're still asking role players to stretch beyond their expected workload, and yet they, entering today with momentum. They have belief. They think they have a chance to measure themselves against, the team that has defined the Eastern Conference, for the last half decade practically. Meanwhile, Boston walks into Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse with, something they haven't had in nearly a year, and a healthy Jason Tatum. Excuse me. I think this is more than a Sunday matinee. I think it's a temperature check on where the Cavs stand. What they can be when they're whole, and what the road to May and through June might actually look like. The injury report obviously hasn't, helped them at all, but even with the absences, the Cavs have been playing with the level of resilience that, has kept them firmly in the top half of the East, since they started with Harden. And with Harden's presence, even with the fractured thumb, he has stabilized the offense, is truly giving them, some structure and pace that they desperately needed. Evan Mobley's recent surge has been, the biggest on-court development right now. I think, all the role players have stepped up in meaningful minutes rather than just filling gaps. I think today's game is a chance to reinforce that identity against against a team that punishes every mistake. Boston's defense, they have length, they have great switching ability. They're physical, they're going to stress Cleveland's makeshift rotations. The Cavs don't need to be perfect, but they need to show that they can maintain their style, their pace, and, their defensive connectivity against a contender operating near full strength. It's going to be a fun game. I don't necessarily think it'll be end all be all, especially, like I said, the lack of just continuity on the practice court, let alone in games, and with all the injuries. But nonetheless, the fact that we're here right now and we're talking about that they could be competing even with all those things against them is saying something. I think it's going to be a fun game for sure.
Yeah, I think it does. I think it's a great point. I mean, I think it shows you how talented they really are and how resilient they are. The horrible start to the season. I mean, compared to last year, obviously it's night and day. But yeah, to come back from that and then to be in the top half of the East like this, after all listen, Darius Garland, that's an emotional trade, right? Getting rid of DG was an emotional time for the Cavs. I mean, he was one of the core four. That hurt a lot of fans. I think the way that James Harden has played, and more importantly, I think the way he's the way he's inserted himself into this lineup and just how he's been so efficient and so willing to do whatever it takes. I think that helps soften the blow a little bit. But Eli, I'm going to ask you before we get you out of here, because I know you're probably busy, but we appreciate you joining us, right? Let me ask you, so is this like the honeymoon period with Harden? I mean, when we get everybody back on the floor and the Cavs have everybody back out there, do you expect it to – I mean, I don't know. Will he still be there? I mean, he's been very, very efficient, and I've just been impressed with his willingness to come in and just really do whatever it takes. I mean, be that veteran presence, whether it's scoring, being really efficient on the floor, like I said, or playing a little bit of defense. He's an excellent passer. I don't know that I've ever really given him enough credit for his passing. I mean, just seeing him with the Cavs, I've been super impressed with not the passing, but the court vision. His basketball IQ is off the charts, and I guess I never really had given him credit for that. You buy into the kind of the national whatever the perception that he can't get it done, but he's a great player. So I mean, how do you expect this to go forward the same way? Do you expect them? At some point they're going to struggle again, right? Or do you really think that this is the Cavs team to get them to the finals?
Well, if it isn't, then they're going to have to wait till next year, Chad, because you can't make any more moves. But with that being said, I do think this is a good rendition of this Cavaliers roster. To Ryan's point, yes, they have been dealing with injuries, but honestly, I'm going to be honest, guys. I think I'm tired of hearing the injuries thing. And it's a valid point, but at the same time, Boston's been playing without their best player all year long and is sitting firmly in the 2 spot. So at some point, we got to have enough, right? I know Max Strus, the injury, I don't know what happened with the rehab there. I mean, that's a completely different, discussion. But I think this is as close as you're going to get to a healthy Cavs team before the playoffs. Because you got Mobley out there. If you get Donovan out there today and you have Harden, you have 3 of your 4. And if you get Jared Allen out there, obviously in the playoffs, you'll get a better understanding. And I think he's become so much more of an important player in this offense and on this team after Darius Garland got moved. But I think that, yes, this team's going to be able to gel well. You saw how Harden actually had the most assists to Jared Allen after his first 5 or 6 games. It was to Jared Allen. What was the most assists. So I think that's something to keep an eye on. Getting Evan Mobley involved and having him pick and choose where he's going to have his shots. This idea that Evan Mobley has to be a 25-12 guy, it doesn't have to be that. He is a defensive player of the year, and I've never seen a city, and I love Cleveland, but I've never seen a city's fans give so much crap to a guy that is a defensive player of the year and is still giving you points, and he's giving you great defense. And I mean, is he where we would want to see the progression? I guess no. He's the 3rd overall pick. I get it. But right now, we're not worried about the progression of Evan Mobley becoming the next David Robinson or Tim Duncan, right? We're worried about the Cavaliers winning an NBA championship. So if that means he's just going to score 12, give us 7 boards, and get a block or 2 and be that defensive presence, and that's what we need. But to answer your question, long-winded, Chad, and I'll give the show right back to you guys. I think this is going to be the idea of this Cavs team going forward. Today is going to give you an idea how do they compete against this Boston team. And again, how will they look against this Knicks team in the future? How will they, we've seen that obviously, but just those are the questions you have. Can you just gel And to Ryan's point, the injuries do kind of cause a little bit of a challenge with that, but I think you had to overcome that. Championship teams overcome that.
And I completely agree. I'm not making it as an excuse. It is the realization, and they have to find the way to overcome that. You're absolutely right. And you said that they have been out without Tatum. Yeah, I mean, it's not just a storyline that Tatum's back. It's going to be a strategic shift for sure. I mean, his ability to create mismatches, collapse defenses, hit contested shots, force his opponents to defend longer and more precisely. So this isn't going to be the same matchup. Both teams are going to be completely different. Boston offense, overnight now becomes more balanced. Jaylen Brown's burden lightens by significantly, making him more efficient. Their spacing improves. I mean, there's no excuses. They're going to have to get it done. I'm just talking about the realization of it. I'm not making an excuse.
Oh, yeah,
I'm not saying that you are.
Absolutely, Ryan. And I think the interesting thing to that point is Donovan wouldn't be coming back, I think, if this wasn't Boston in Cleveland right now. And I get exactly. Yeah, I don't think you're making an excuse, but I do think there are fans out there that are like, well, we have to see how we look in April or May or June, but I want to see how we look right now in March in Cleveland with Donovan Mitchell coming back, ready to rock, him and James Harden, getting the Rocket Arena pumping and going. And yeah, no, I'm with you, Mosser. I know you're not a guy made of excuses. So why would you make excuses for our team? Come on.
But
man.
on the other hand, I do see like if it doesn't go our way, people are going to say, well, they haven't practiced together. All these injuries. This doesn't matter until the second round. So no one's going to be happy no matter what, unless we just destroy Boston today. But like I said, I think this is a test game. This isn't a must-win game. This is a must-understand game. We need to see where we play against a full Boston team. So.
Yeah, and I think the good thing is, listen, if anybody is going to make excuses, it's going to be fans, and that's okay. I don't think the team's going to make excuses for themselves. I think they're going to hold themselves accountable. They have. I think they've actually done a really nice job of bouncing back. Like we talked about the rough start, and just something that you said, Ryan. They've been, the Celtics have been playing without their best player. Can you imagine? Now think back to how lucky we are. We complain about the progression of Evan Mobley, even though we've got a defensive player of the year who gives you plenty on offense when you need it. He's been a little injured this year, but everybody has. That's fine. No excuses. Sorry, Eli, no excuses. Okay. But no, think about this Cavs team now over the past however many months without Donovan Mitchell, and then think about where they'd be. So I think we're incredibly lucky right now, honestly, in Cleveland. I mean, it seems like it's been a little weird, but I think we're just really, really lucky to be where we are as Cavs fans. And I think you're right. I think people are going to look at it and go, well, if they come in, the Celtics come in here and blow the Cavs out, we're injured. If the Cavs blow the Celtics out, it's going to be like, hey, we're ready, right? Even though we're not. So yeah, it's a weird, but that's for fans. I think that speculation, that's a fun thing for fans to do. I think sometimes we forget that when you say, the excuses, the this and that, the team doesn't really get into that. I think they know they're starting to find out who they are a little bit. And I think that's important. They need to find out exactly who they are on offense. And also getting back to Evan Mobley before we get Eli out of here, and we're going to take a break, but I just want to say regarding Evan Mobley, if there hadn't been so many second round exits for this team over the last few years, I don't think we'd even be talking about the progression of Evan Mobley. Everything would be fine. We're just looking for somebody to get us over that hump, right? That next step. And I mean, we're kind of a spoiled city. For 4 straight years, we had LeBron James here. That was like, when it went bad, he would just, rip the shirt off, and there went Clark Kent Superman, right? So he can get you there. He can get you to the finals. Yeah, they only won one, but they won one, right? That's the championship. So I just think we're missing that player that just sort of feels like no matter what happens, they can kind of get you to that next level. And maybe that is Donovan Mitchell if he can stay healthy. Obviously, he's had lower body injuries over the last couple of years in the playoffs that have limited his production and his ability to go make plays for the Cavs. So 5 days off I think is great. They had a little mini vacation there. It was weird scheduling, but I think it really worked out for the Cavs. It lets you rest some things like strained groins and broken fingers and thumbs that get to heal for a few extra days before you take that contact again. I guess to sum it up, it's a big game. Not the end of the world if they lose. Definitely not a harbinger of a championship if they win. But I think it's a good measuring stick to tell you where the Cavs are. So like I said, we're going to take a break. Oh, first of all, thank you, Eli. Thanks for being on with us, man. We appreciate you. I will see you tomorrow night on Inside Edge Primetime, and everybody can see you tonight on the main event, right, with Rob and Anthony.
Yes, I'll be there. Main event Sunday nights. We typically plan around like 8 o'clock, 8 to 9. Just keep an eye out. Obviously, follow Inside Edge Net. I mean, these guys do a great job, Ryan, Chad, and TK. So make sure you stay locked in the entire show. I'm going to be watching as soon as I get off here.
I made him say that, or else I told him he could never be on the show again. So thank you for saying that.
Of course. But I will be their main event. Yes, Double A Anthony Alford, Robert Zicki, and myself. We'll have a lot to talk about. We'll talk about the reaction of the Cavs-Celtics game and some other things as well. Some UFC news. We'll probably talk some MMA and all that jazz. But yes, thank you guys. I appreciate the time and getting to talk some Cavs with you.
Yeah, thanks for being on. We'll see you tonight on the main event. All right, let's head back to our regularly scheduled programming. I wonder if this changed our mustache. Oh, now it's just me. Okay, well, great. Well, nobody wants to. You'd rather have the close up on all the mustaches than just me. Either way, we're gonna take a break. It's you never know what you're gonna get. Technical difficulties, you get some struggles. You got to overcome it, right? We essentially are the Cavs here. Our situation is a little injured, but we're going to get through it. We're going to get you to the finals. Don't worry. We're going to take a 5-minute break or so on the Inside Edge Network, so bear with us. When we come back, we're going to talk a little baseball. I think it's time to talk World Baseball Classic. I've been trying to watch as much as I can, and I'm seeing some fun stuff. So we won't spend too long on it, but we'll go over a couple of cool things that I think are kind of fun from the World Baseball Classic when we get back. And other than that, just stick with us right here on the Inside Edge Network. We'll be right back. Thanks, guys. Where'd TK go? All right. That was weird. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Inside Edge Network for the Sunday sports show. Thought we lost TK for a second there. I was nervous when we came back, but we got him back. We're good. So I guess I want to talk some World Baseball Classic with you guys. I saw Team US last night, and I did fall asleep. I don't know what happened, and I fell asleep even a little earlier last night than normal, but I still feel like I lost like 5.5 hours of sleep. Happy daylight savings, by the way. One of the dumbest things that we do. I'll never understand it. I don't know. One year, I just think we need to like either go forward or back a half hour and meet in the middle and just call it a day. That's it. We're done. We don't do it again. Maybe the daylight would. I don't know if that would. I actually don't even know if that would change anything or not. Regardless, USA's 2-0 in pool play. They won last night. 9-1 over not Great Britain, but over Great Britain. And I think just the important thing is, honestly, guys, when it comes to the World Baseball Classic, at least Great Britain is not wearing these uniforms anymore. They improved them just a little bit with some piping and maybe a different font. They just went down like the second font on the list. I don't know what those jerseys were. I mean, I have had better co-ed softball jerseys than that. I don't understand how you could look at that and go, yeah, this is fine. Or why it just didn't say okay Britain. I mean, that is the literal boiled chicken version of a jersey. I've never seen anything worse than that. Regardless, like I said, USA is 2-0 in pool play. Hey man, I mean it's true. Did I mute you guys? Are you guys muted? Oh, I can't unmute you.
I'm always muted.
You're I'm married, so I am oftentimes muted. Yes, I am never I'm not allowed to speak. I don't know if my wife's watching or not, but that'll be fun later. You know, and if she's not, why are you not watching? My own wife is not supporting our show. Okay. And by the way, I just want to talk about Brazil real quick before we get into the USA or anything else. Is anybody having more fun than Team Brazil? I know they're not winning. They're 0-2, and that's fine. They're walking guys everywhere. They got pitch clock violations. I don't know if they care. They got a 17-year-old pitcher out there throwing 97 miles per hour. That's insane. They got Manny Ramirez's son is out there. We got Dante Bichette Jr. with the green hair. Man, I want to play for Team Brazil. It looks like they're having a ton of fun. I don't even think they care if they win or not, but I'm sure they do. Are you guys, Ryan, have you been watching the World Baseball Classic at all? Have you been watching this?
Just here and there when I can, honestly. I mean, I'll pop in and watch, big moments when I see them on Twitter and stuff. But yeah. I got little kids and a lot to do. I did see the 17-year-old pitcher Joseph Contreras. He looked awesome. I mean, probably the breakout story of the entire tournament. I mean, 17 years old, barely old enough to tie his shoes, and he's out there staring down the best hitters and on the planet like it's just another weekend showcase. It's really, really awesome. Obviously the moment that blew up the baseball world was him. He got to go against Aaron Judge, and to roll over a pitch, so hard that it snapped his bat too, which I thought was pretty cool. And turned that into double play. That's going to be a moment in his life he'll probably have forever. I don't think it's a fluke. I think that's a teenager who's already has pitching. He's pitching with poise. He's got good sequencing. And I think that that fearlessness is way beyond his age as well. He looked calm. Not overthrowing, not trying to be a superhero, just pitching. And I thought that was really, really fun to watch. So.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. I mean, geez, man, 17 years old throwing 97. I can't relate to that. I was a pitcher. I never once even approached anything near 97. I don't know that I ever threw 90. I don't know that I ever hit 90 in my life. But yeah, I think that's pretty cool. It's fun. And like I said, Brazil's just having fun. The pool play is fun. I've watched a few at bats here, and I've watched a couple innings. I actually didn't see the fifth inning last night. I fell asleep before that. I was in and out a little bit last night. But yeah, Ryan, same. I have kids, and it's like I just can't really like sit down and watch.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
a sporting event for 3 hours sometimes during bedtime and like the end of dinner and everything's going on. I would look insane. Telling my wife, hey, go put the kids to bed. I'm going to watch this baseball game. That truly doesn't mean anything.
Wildcats is on, if anything. So I'm not watching, something on PBS. I'm not watching baseball. So
yeah, I got you, man. I got you. So TK, first of all, is anybody having more fun than Team Brazil in the World Baseball Classic? I mean, like I said, I kind of want to play for Brazil, man.
Yeah, any team that can go out there and just find a way to just have a party every time they show up. Granted, they know they're not going to win, or they don't have the talent to persevere in this type of situation. Yeah, you had to think though that Brazil was just more than elated to be there. So they're going to give every bit that they have, but they're going to have fun doing it. So there's no reason to lose in vain, especially when you know that winning really isn't in the plan for you guys. So make the absolute best out of it. Make a spectacle of yourself if you want. Not in a horrible way, obviously, but just let these guys have their fun. It's the World Baseball Classic. A couple players are probably going to be heading home soon. Tarek Skubal has $500 million worth of reasons to get his ass back to Detroit as soon as possible.
Well, hold on. Wait. Now, this morning he said he didn't expect the emotions to hit him quite the way that they did. He might be heading back to Team USA. He might pitch again for Team USA. So we don't know yet. I'm not sure on that.
Hey, I totally get it. I totally respect it as well. But if he went back to Detroit, we would not give him any grief whatsoever for that decision.
No, I think we've talked about it in baseball. Baseball's a sport where you kind of, especially as a pitcher, entering a contract year, when you're about to make the money that he's probably going to make, I mean, I think it's smart to take care of yourself.
Nah, he's a sissy.
Yeah, tell him. Let's zoom in on your mustache while you say it, though.
Yeah, right.
I listen, I have a hard time faulting whatever decision he makes. I mean, I get wanting to, stick with the team that's paying you and is, probably going to watch someone else pay you more. Poor Detroit. Whatever. We don't feel bad for him. But yeah, I also understand, like, once you get there and you're like with the guys in the dugout, man, you get in the clubhouse and it's like, okay, now, this is my team and I'm playing for my country and there's a lot going on there. So I wouldn't blame him either way. Listen, whatever he decides to do, it's his decision, right? And even if I was a Tigers fan, I don't know. I just, whatever, you let him go. I know that, first, did you see Ozzie Albies had a walk-off home run, the first walk-off home run in the history of the World Baseball Classic. I thought that was kind of fun.
Huh.
So that was something, that was pretty cool for me as a Braves fan to see. I thought that was interesting. I mean, other than that, it's pool play, right? There's not a ton of whatever. There's nothing to glean from this. We'll see who moves on and whatever. But you guys remember the big moment from a couple of years ago with Shohei Ohtani pitching to Mike Trout. That was like the last really must-see baseball moment I can really remember. It was like that was electric, right? And I think we can get that from the World Baseball Classic. I think that was a lot of fun to see. So hopefully we'll get that going forward. But again, it's just pool play right now. Team USA is 2-0. I want to look at the schedule for today. Who plays today? Oh, let me see. Well, okay, it looks like Japan has already beaten Australia.
Yeah, that was this morning.
Yeah, today 4-3. Didn't realize they played that early. I guess that's overseas, whatever. We got Colombia plays Cuba. When does Team USA play next? They don't play tonight. They play probably tomorrow. Then when do they play next? There they are. They play Mexico. Yeah, it'll be Mexico at Team USA, and that's Paul Skeens on the mound now. So that'll be on Fox at 8 p.m. Monday night. So it's kind of fun that they're nationally televised games, and I don't know, it's fun. It's a good way to kind of ease yourself into baseball, and you don't have to. Well, I was going to say you don't have to worry about your team, losing too much, but
yeah,
Braves have already lost 2 pitchers to surgery and Jurickson Profar to a season-long suspension, and it's fun to be a Braves fan right now. Let's move on.
If anything, I'm just watching individual players for the Guardians. Travis Bazzana, Bo Naylor, Matt Festa with Italy, Logan Allen. We got some minor leaguers, even some coaches say LMRs with Puerto Rico. I think that's pretty cool. So just individual statistics and stuff I'm really more focused on, other than the major headlines. So.
Yeah, and I don't know if you saw there was also 15 or 16 guys that had played for the Captains at one point.
That's crazy.
That are representing whatever country in the world. That's awesome. That's amazing. That's crazy representation. So I think that's a good opportunity to tell you. I mean, if you're in the area, if you're in Northeast Ohio, I'm not sure there's a better atmosphere for a minor league baseball game. Get out and see the Lake County Captains, man. They're in Wickliffe.
Dude, it's so fun.
It's it's a fun stadium. It's a cool location. It's just minor league games are a lot of fun anyway. So definitely get out and try to see that if you can. We're gonna move on.
Check out the Crushers too. They're not really minor league, but they're fun too. So
yeah, there's a lot of fun. yeah, minor league, independent ball, semi-pro, like all these games, if you can find them, the atmosphere is a ton of fun. Even the Savannah Bananas, like that's a little extreme for me. I'm more of a baseball purist, but hey, they have fun, right? And I think they're going to play an important role in that whatever they have going on in that league. Once we get the work stoppage, if we miss a season of baseball,
Right.
Savannah Bananas, I think, have a kind of a big responsibility to. I mean, they can really take advantage of that, right? Yes, I think this is an accurate comment. Raul says, isn't the WBC like the adult version of the Little League World Series? Yes, but Raul, they're baseball players, so it's barely the adult version. It's just like the little bit more grown up 12-year-old version, I think. But yeah, I think that's that's pretty accurate, honestly. That's the way I look at it anyway. And in a positive light, I think it's fun. So let's move on. Let's switch gears from baseball to football because we gotta talk about some football. There's been a lot of movement. There's been like things going on, trades, signings. We got the legal tampering period coming up. I think that starts Monday. The first day of the league new year, the league year, whatever, is Wednesday. So if you celebrate, happy NFL New Year. I think this year's animal is the I don't know, the whatever. That was stupid. That was gonna be stupid. I'm glad I stopped before I said it. Okay, so. TK, don't laugh at me, man. All right, Ryan, I talked to TK a little bit about just yesterday about all the things, right? DJ Moore, we got all kinds of different trades. Max Crosby is now in the AFC North. That becomes a problem for our makeshift patchwork offensive line that isn't even really there's been no shift making. I mean, we got one guy, Ty Sowers, in there. We don't have an offensive line yet, but we've got Max Crosby getting ready to line up in purple and black. That's terrifying. I got to face him twice now, no matter what. So if you get to the playoffs, you're probably going to see him 3 times. So let me ask you, I mean, what do you make of all the moves? I mean, first of all, do you have a favorite move? Do you have a move that puzzled you? Just tell me kind of like your take on all these trades so far that really aren't official yet, but they'll be official on Wednesday.
I mean, my favorite one probably is Titus Howard to the Browns, just because the state of our offensive line is they were in dire need of 5 positions on that offensive line. So solidifying one, and one that's relatively versatile, can move inside if you need to, I think is a classic, quietly huge move, for the Browns. From Cleveland side, every serious plan they have on offense, whether it's protecting a quarterback or, leaning into the run game, starts with stabilizing, the tackle spots, obviously. Howard is, started a ton of games, both at tackle and guard, and gives them, a proven NFL lineman instead of another, hope the rookie develops kind of guy. And, with Andrew Berry's track record, you got Jed Wills, who is just an absolute bust. You got guys who are promising like DeJuan Jones, but can't stay healthy. Even Luke Whippler, he's had the injury bug. This guy looks like he can solidify at least one piece of that line. So as a Browns fan, that's probably my favorite move. I did think the DJ Moore to the from the Bears to the Bills was a great move as well. Probably for fantasy football implications more than anything, just because I love my fantasy football. But they finally did the thing that they've been waiting on. They got Josh Allen, a true established wide receiver in the NFL. I don't know. I think he's got a real shot to walk into Buffalo and, be the unquestioned, wide receiver 1 for Josh Allen. Last year in Chicago, he was basically pushed out, to the background as if they tried to, force feed reps to the younger guys, Romo Dunze, Colston Loveland at the end there. That didn't suddenly make DJ Moore a bad player. It just means that his situation shifted around him. I think that, his raw numbers dipped, sure, but if you look at the body of work, especially what he did in 2023 and in 2024, there's still a legit top receiver there. I think it changed the scenery for DJ Moore. With a quarterback who can actually stress every level of the blade of grass. I think he's going to absolutely feast. So. I don't know, if you zoom out on his career, he's already stacked multiple seasons with, strong yardage totals. He's shown that he can be a volume guy and, when the offense runs through him specifically, and now he goes to a team that desperately needs exactly that. So I really like the move. I think that he's going to be a top free agent in fantasy football if he's not on a team, especially with Dynasty. And great move for the Bills. So.
Yeah, I mean, he's a guy that's averaged 1,000 yards a season. I like you said, when they first put him with Justin Fields, I thought, okay, like here's where Fields takes off. This is where the Bears offense starts to go. Like it looked 1,400 yards, whatever, 8 or 9 touchdowns that year. And you thought like, okay, well, they figured it out, and they eventually figured it out. And like you said, I don't think that because his production dipped, he's any less of a player. They just had more options for pass catchers. And Colston Loveland came on at the end of the season. I thought he did a great job. Just I thought they had just a ton more options, and they kind of traded from a position of strength there, and that's okay. You get a second round pick back. I don't know what they do with that. I don't know if they're going to go center in free agency and go make the big splash, or if they're going to look for some depth. I mean, they've already traded for who did they trade for? They traded for I'm blanking on his name, Garrett Bradbury. The Bears brought him in. I think he's TK and I talked about it a little bit yesterday. I think he's a viable starter until they figure out exactly what they're going to do, whether it's 1 year until they patch that lineup a little more, or if they go in the draft or whatever. They've got some options there. And Raul, I think you might be right. He says Miles might have more points on his driving record than the offense scores.
Yep.
At this point, yeah, that's a possibility. Anybody disappointed that the officer, by the way, didn't write him for 95 miles per hour instead of 94? Anybody? Okay, I just thought that was put because he was actually going like 106 or whatever. I don't know. I guess he could have. I don't know. I feel like anybody else, by the way, would have no license, no vehicle. You'd have your car impounded. But it's like Myles Garrett. It's like, well, whatever. I mean, maybe he was chasing down a quarterback on the freeway. We'll let him go. It's fine. He's got to settle down with that. And again, it's not like a criminal. Like, it's not the biggest deal in the world. I'm not going to sit here and rake him over the coals because he drives a little fast or whatever. I mean, we've all done it. But at the same time, like, hey man, like, chill, right? You got to chill out a little bit on the freeways.
I don't know, man. It's not a good situation. It's all fun and games until something happens. He's the face of the franchise, he's the sack king in Cleveland, and generational talent until one bad moment happens, and then the headline is going to be what nobody wants to read. So nine is just immature at this point. It's embarrassing. He needs to stop. I hope he gets his license taken away. He already had one close call with his flipping his Porsche with the passenger. You think you're in control, but you can't, coming from a former police officer, you can't control the external forces. One bad move by somebody else, and you, as confident as you are, it's over. And then and then just look at the Henry Ark situation. Obviously, there was other things involved there that might have intoxicated him, but nonetheless, like, could be the same outcome, and you don't want that, man. So kicking a dead horse, he's gonna do it again. He's got 9. There's nothing to say that he's not gonna do it again, but eventually it's gonna be a bad ending, and it's really sucks. So
yeah, that's what you want to avoid for sure. And that's what I mean. Listen, it's not like he's out here committing crimes and but like you said, as soon as that other shoe drops and something bad does happen, then obviously we go back and we look, well, where do we go wrong? Where could we have changed it? Which is apparently very difficult for me to say. But yeah, I don't know. Just getting back to the Bears in that second round pick, I've been kind of intrigued. I mean, what do you think they do? Do they go out in free agency and sign a center? I mean, there's a guy in Baltimore everybody wants. I think the overwhelming thought is that he stays with Baltimore, but then I think some people see him going to Chicago and kind of strengthening up that line and giving them what when Drew Dahlman retiring. They've kind of lost a little bit and a really, really, really good center. What do you think, Ryan? What do you think they're going to do?
They're obviously going to try to target Tyler Linderbaum. Any team that needs a center, I think the Browns should make him their top priority. He's going to have choices, obviously, and the Bears. The Bears aren't a bad choice. Especially if you don't necessarily like the regime change in Baltimore, and you see that the trajectory of what that Bears team was on last year, specifically after they bolstered their offensive line in free agency the year before. He could be that last final piece. And then they can focus on stabilizing another piece in that defense, which was probably you'll flash at times, but probably their biggest hurdle was their defense. Or and maybe DJ Moore's gone. Go find another receiver. There's a lot of options here. Obviously, the resurgence of Luther Burden as well. You have a lot of guys who want the ball and you only have one ball. So I don't know, but they can definitely stabilize their defense. And if they don't get Linderbaum, they probably will target a center in the draft. So I would.
Yeah, I think if I were, I think I'd probably lean toward Linderbaum if I were the Bears, and then I don't know, you maybe bring in a guy in the draft at wide receiver because you've already got so many proven pass catchers there.
Right.
If you add a guy who doesn't exactly, whatever. If he doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out. But here's my thing. So Dan Graziano from ESPN projects Rasheed Walker to the Browns, 4 years, $80 million. And TK yesterday thought that's a little bit of an overpay. What do you think, Ryan?
You said 2 years, 40 million?
No. 4 years, 80 million.
Oh, that's a lot. Yeah, I wouldn't either. I mean, Andrew Berry has specifically talked about how he looks at how the Bears structured their offensive line through free agency and wants to emulate that. So he can use, picks on, probably playmakers or acquiring other future picks as well. But nonetheless, we already just paid a brand new offensive lineman. We traded for him, then re-signed him. I just 4 years, $80 million is a lot of money. So I probably would not do that personally, but I'm not the one.
No.
Right? Yeah, I'm not running the show there, but whatever.
I would caution you too, if you're watching the show and you're going to comment, I would make sure that you say things in the comments that you would say to my face, or just don't say it at all, because that's what I would say. That's my take on Rasheed Walker. Anyway, let's move on to Rashid Shaheed. Speaking of Rasheeds, here's a guy I think everybody, TK and I talked about it yesterday. I think the Browns should absolutely target Rashid Shaheed.
Without
a doubt, right?
Without Dan's question.
Yeah, the special team, the route running, everything that Rashid Shaheed brings to you. Graziano has him projected to go to the Commanders, 3 years, $40 million. Is that something? First of all, can the Browns afford Rashid Shaheed for 3 years, $40 million?
They just restructured Deshaun Watson's contract as well.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to have, I think they cleared like $30 million and pass it down to another year. So they're just going to keep doing it. So they're always going to be able to try to bring somebody in. You said 3 years. How much? Sorry,
3 years, $40 million. That's okay.
It's not awful. As a guy, as a position of need, he's a burner. He's somebody who, isn't as big as Josh Cribbs, but brings that dynamic playmaking ability on special teams that we need and that we've needed for a long time. We've had obviously Sheehy Gesepsi, who's been a beat. No, I'm just kidding. We haven't had anybody. As long as he can continue to be productive in the wide receiver room, I have no problem with it. I just don't think he's a true wide receiver one, and I still think that's what we need. So if we address wide receiver one in the draft, have Shaheed as our 2, Jerry Jeudy as our 7, and continue, then maybe that's possible. Especially with 3 years. Darn it. I cannot figure out this contract again. Nonetheless, the contract is fine. I thought that was fine. If they can, $12-13 million a year is fine. So
yeah. They don't have a ton of cap space, and I think Raul brings up a point. They don't really have a quarterback right now. We don't know who the quarterback's going to be.
They're not going to address that position in this draft or in this free agency anyway. They're going to look towards what they have this season, and if not, go for 2027. So quarterback, this is not a year to go after positions in need. This is a year that we need to get elite players on this team or players at the best position. Best position available. That's what I am right now. Especially if we're not going to compete and we're looking for that 2027 draft. I'm going to try to find the 1 or 2 blue chip guys that are probably going to be there at 6. I know Andrew Berry is going to trade back because that's what he does, but nonetheless, like David Bailey, the edge at a Texas Tech, or Caleb Downs, Arvell Reese. There's several guys I would take on defense over a quarterback for sure at 6, but or a position of need, regardless of what wide receivers are there or offensive linemen. So we'll see how he approaches this draft. I for sure think he's going to trade back because that's what he does. But man, I want one of those guys at 6 so bad.
Do you have any concerns at all about Caleb Downs' knees that seem to have been brought up by we think the Chiefs, a team that needs a safety that doesn't have a pick in the top end of the draft, or the top end of the first round anyway? Right. Any concerns there? Is that more draft mode?
I think it's more draft stuff. For those who don't know, he had an alleged MRI that showed he had basically
degenerative something.
Yeah, degenerative ACL or something in his knee. Yeah. I mean, I look at the film. I look at how he plays. The guy is a read and react. He's there before the ball carrier is usually there, and I haven't seen any sense of anything with his knees, any problems at all when he plays. So that's what I'm going to go off of. Also, I've seen several reports that have pushed back on that, and so other teams apparently allegedly say he's fine. So take it with a grain of salt. This looks like something that hopefully he falls to us and we're going to get this elite player. More just pre-draft BS. So that's me, but I'm not concerned about it whatsoever. So
I get all the pre-draft smokescreen stuff, but I don't think we should. I don't think it's fair to make statements about players' physical condition. I just feel like that was crossing the line. That's weird.
Sure. I mean, there could be some backbone to it, but like I said, there were other teams that pushed back and said they didn't see any of that. So I mean, you take it with a grain of salt, regardless. So
exactly. And I think Raul, yes, the answer is that Brandon Whedon, the Brandon Whedon that went under the flag that day, that opener in Cleveland against the Eagles. The Brandon Whedon that got stuck under there was the Brandon Whedon we wanted at quarterback. A different Brandon Whedon came out, the guy that didn't hit the clay pigeons on Sports Science, if you remember that segment. That's what excited me about. I was like, yes, Brandon Whedon can throw a football and knock a clay pigeon out of the air. He could not find a Browns receiver in an orange helmet, though. So there was a disconnect there. So I think a different Brandon Whedon actually emerged from under that flag, Raul, and the original Brandon Whedon was never to be seen again. I don't know exactly what happened there. It's a sad moment in NFL history, but they don't want you to know that, so we're not going to talk about that on the show. We'll get shut down for that. Conspiracy theories. Anybody else, Ryan? I mean, TK and I, we beat it to death yesterday, the free agents. Is there anybody else that you want that the Browns really need? I mean, there's a couple of wide receivers on here. I think we don't need a running back, don't need anything like that right now. I think we're going to see how Quinshon Judkins. I finally got like the first report from Judkins. It seems like he's doing well. It seems like he's progressing toward being ready for camp. So that's good. He should be ready for week 1. I think that's good news. Mike Evans is going back to Tampa. Alec Pierce to the Chargers for 3 years, $80 million. I mean, okay. I don't know. I mean, I really like Rashid Shaheed because of the special teams prowess. TK, you and I talked about how much of a game changer that can be, right? Man, I mean, to give just a few extra yards, right, in field position can be a big boost for a team that is very offensively challenged in many ways. Coming off a bad offense, no offensive line to speak of right now. Don't really know what we're going to get at quarterback. We probably know who's going to be there. I think if you're the Browns going forward, I mean, it's Shedeur Sanders, right? Like, it's got to be. You got a guy on the roster that hasn't played meaningful football in, I don't know, since 1983.
I don't know.
What do you think?
I mean, it's going to be a quarterback competition. And, I mean, I'm not saying Watson has shown any sort of, progress as a quarterback. A lot of that was mentally for sure, but like if you see him running around, I mean, obviously it looks more like a running back than a quarterback, but his Achilles injury is back. He's healed. I've been saying it for a while that Shedeur Sanders has not earned anything. He has right now earned the opportunity as maybe the front runner going into this season to become quarterback 1, but he has not earned quarterback 1. Deshaun Watson is going to try to push that narrative. To think that the Browns aren't going to bring in somebody from the outside is probably naive. I mean, do they draft somebody like Ty Simpson? Hopefully not in the first round. They brought in Drew Aller. They're talking to these guys. I would love Taylor Green in the 4th round, and it depends. Pavia at 6 would destroy me, bro. Oh my gosh.
I swear to God, I will sell everything that I have that's wrong. Anything.
Nonetheless, I mean, they could address it in free agency as well. Malik Willis is an option. Do I think he signs with the Browns? Probably not. Yeah. There's guys like Geno Smith who's been tied. To think that Shedeur's locked up is not the fact. It's not. I am rooting. I'm wearing Shedeur on my shirt right now. I'm rooting for the dude. Like I have no hate for him. But nonetheless, he's not earned anything. And if you think he has, you're naive or just unrealistic. So I'm not saying you, just people in general.
No, I am naive and unrealistic. That's true. But I think the point. I guess what my point is. I don't think you add a quarterback to this team right now who you expect to go out and be the week 1 starter because you have no offensive line. You have no idea what that's going to look like. We have no idea how that's going to be built. We don't know really who they're going to be throwing the ball to. I think you wait a year on the quarterback. You may bring someone in. You said it with Austin, whatever, Drew Aller. Maybe you take a flyer on someone later in the draft, right? And you hope that you can develop them into a starting quarterback in a year or two, and that's fine. But I don't think you would go out and like if you were again, someone said Kirk Cousins. That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't
any of these guys. Kyler, I don't know. Yeah.
No, I don't think you bring in a guy who's ready to start next year because I don't think the quarterback. I don't think that's going to go very well for whoever that starter is next year.
Specifically, since we already have so much invested in a possible backup or a guy who's competing for the starting job in Deshaun Watson. It just doesn't make sense to add in another guy who's going to take on at least $20 to $30 million a year on a contract. It doesn't.
Yeah. And to answer your question, yeah. I think Watson is he's healthy. This is probably the healthiest he's been since he's been in Cleveland, or at least since he tore his Achilles for the first time. Which it worries me that there was a second tear there. I mean, you worry about that because the first time he goes to take off out of the pocket or to make a quick cut or something, don't you worry that and I hadn't even thought about this actually. Kansas City would be smart to get cut until I mean, if you can plug him in and just if you can get him to do the prep work, Dion, then I think. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Actually, I don't mind that in Kansas City until Mahomes comes back, and then Kyler Murray would have to understand. Obviously, he's the backup, and that's the thing. And maybe he becomes a trade piece at the deadline or whatever. But then you've also got Mahomes with the propensity to hurt that ankle late in the season, so maybe you want to keep Kyler Murray around for that. And of course, man. Yeah, of course. Thank you for watching, man. We appreciate you. We appreciate you tuning in. So that's something I hadn't even thought about is Kyler Murray to Kansas City. That actually makes a little bit of sense to me. For some reason, I was thinking Miami. I thought that might be a spot that he ends up in, but Kansas City doesn't. I don't hate that.
He's going to the A's.
Oh yeah, probably. I mean, I would. I mean, listen. If I
play $30 million and chill on a bus all year,
yeah, and there's a lot less game prep, right? You can play Call of Duty and play. You're fine, right? You can go play center field, whatever. I don't know. That's a weird thing. I just think that's a bad fit for the Browns. A lot of people want Kyler Murray. I don't want a guy who you have to give incentive to study the playbook and to know. The Browns don't need that. That's a whole nother headache the Browns just really don't need. So no, it's a no for me on Kyler Murray in Cleveland, but somewhere else could be the answer. Could fit. Maybe he turns it completely around. I don't know, but I would go play baseball. That's just me. I'm a baseball guy.
So to answer your question, do you want me to give you a free agent or?
Yeah. Did I ask that time ago and then just talk over it? That's awesome. Yeah, go ahead.
We're good. I mean, you talked about receivers. I'm only looking at receivers. I mean, obviously we have a huge need of offensive linemen. We could get lucky with the trade like we did with Wyatt Teller. Unlikely though. Usually teams that have good offensive linemen are not trading them unless there's some sort of, malfunction or disgruntledness of, nonetheless, we're not going to get a valuable starting offensive line piece in a trade. Usually they're going to keep their guys. Yeah. I'm going to talk about receiver. I mean, a lot of people have talked about this guy. Obviously, Marvin Harrison Jr. is the guy I'm targeting.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that, he's the rare, target who checks every box that you care about in a receiver. He has that elite ceiling. He has true wide receiver one traits. He has youth, scheme versatility. And I think the price tag, because of his stalled production and, injuries might finally be within striking distance for the Browns. Unlike, a guy like AJ Brown, who is disgruntled and apparently the Eagles have already, turned down a first and a third from the Patriots, allegedly, that's reported for AJ Brown, which is insane, by the way. They should have made that trade. Nonetheless, I think that, this is a swing that, actually aligns with the long-term roster philosophy for the Browns. I think the Browns have they've already allegedly discussed potential trade with Arizona for Marvin Harrison, which is awesome. The Cardinals are entering a transitional phase that could, and could consider moving him as part of a broader overhaul. I think his production has been underwhelming for sure relative to his expectations being drafted 4th overall. And Michael Wilson, has been emerging as a more consistent wide receiver in their offense. That combination of, team direction, and disappointing early returns, injuries, I think that creates the first realistic window to acquire him since draft night, I think. You know, I don't necessarily want to speculate what they could get, trade for him. Obviously, he was the 4th overall pick in 2024 and still has multiple years of rookie control. So he's still a valuable piece, and they're not stupid. I don't know if I necessarily am going to trade a 1st-round pick for him. Maybe I'd be more inclined, maybe 24, but probably not.
May take that 24. Yeah.
I mean, if I could get a 2nd-round pick or worse, 3rd, it would be ideal. I would do it absolutely. I mean, he has elite pedigree. He still has had that underwhelming production. Mm-hmm. His injury history, there's a lot of factors here where, either side could push either way. I think that, why the Cardinals would consider it, they hired a new offensive-minded head coach in Mike LaFleur, signaling their philosophical reset. I think their offense has been stagnant, and Harrison hasn't become the focal point as they expected. As I said, Michael Wilson put up some monster games last year while Harrison was out. He's outperformed him in a lot of
talk about it.
Which is creating obvious internal questions, about the wide receiver hierarchy. Marvin Harrison Jr. was drafted to be that wide receiver 1. I don't know. I really would consider this, especially since it's a position of need and the pedigree of himself. His dad's a Hall of Famer, and I think he steps in. He's automatically our best receiver, even giving his injuries or his woes offensively. I think that a change of scenery would do him a lot of justice, and I hope it's in Cleveland. So
okay, well, before I want to ask TK because I feel like TK has something to say about Marvin Harrison Jr. But before I ask you that, TK, I want to ask you one more thing, Ryan. Does it change anything if they bring in Malik Willis? A lot of people think Malik Willis is going to go to Arizona. I don't see. Again, for multiple reasons, I don't see him coming to Cleveland. They're not ready for a quarterback right now to plug in. And I don't even know if Malik Willis would be a guy you would say you could plug in and he'd be the starter week 1. I mean, he started 6 games in his career. But if he goes to Arizona, does that change? I mean, would they want to hold on to Marvin Harrison Jr. and see what they've got in that offense, or if they take a flyer and they're going to wait until next year and try to rebuild? I think, I don't know. I guess my question is, would they take less from Marvin Harrison Jr. if they don't bring in Malik Willis? Would they move off of him at all if they bring in Willis, or what is the situation there?
See, I mean, I think Willis is going to go to the best opportunity at the highest price. The NFL.com has already stated he is the number 1 free agent on every list. I disagree. I don't think he is necessarily. But it's what have you done for me recently? And recently he has been dominant. He looks like a bona fide starting caliber NFL player who is also a dual threat, which is, in a lot of offenses is a huge thing. He's Kyler Murray allegedly, but 15 feet taller, because Kyler's this big. I don't think necessarily they bring him in. I truly love Jacoby Brissett in Arizona. I mean, specifically, for fantasy, I talk about fantasy a lot because I have the Commissioner's Couch Fantasy Football Podcast on the Inside Edge Network. You'll check that out for me. But while he started, while Kyler was out, Jacoby Brissett was a top 5 fantasy quarterback. He was electric. Obviously, Marvin Harrison Jr. fizzled out a little bit. A lot of that was due to injuries, but nonetheless, he was fizzled out. Michael Wilson stepped up and dominated. Trey McBride was the true wide receiver 1. I love Jacoby Brissett in that offense, and I think that he could be the next quarterback that earns a true contract like Sam Darnold, like Geno Smith did, and actually do something with it. I'm not saying that he's going to get it this year. I don't think that he had enough time last year necessarily to get that. I think same with Daniel Jones. Obviously, Daniel Jones, I think, would have got that contract if he didn't get injured so late in the season. But man, for what he did in that, was it 8 games or so? Like it was, I mean, they see that. So, I mean, personally, I'd go after Jacoby Brissett, see what I can get out of him and not go the Malik Willis route. If they do get Malik Willis, I mean, obviously everything's still on the table. He's still Marvin Harrison Jr. still in his rookie contract. He's still a part of the Cardinals. That could obviously change the philosophy if you have a quarterback of his caliber, especially since you've already talked about how they're going to release Kyler and that now they don't have a quarterback on their roster who's starting. So it's a blank slate. So anything's possible. Obviously, selfishly, I want them to trade, Marvin Harrison Jr. to the Browns for a 2nd-round pick, and let's just continue to build around this team and strike at 2027 or go into our new stadium at 2028 with a new revitalized team. with not just a bunch of old guys who are at the end of their career who have been dominant in Denzel Ward, Myles Garrett, but young guys as well, like Carson Schlesinger, Marvin Harrison Jr., and of course these other couple, first round picks that we have in 2026. So
could you imagine going into the new building and your roster has been so neglected that you're in a rebuild?
Right. Yeah. And that's a total possibility. I mean, we saw the negligence that we specifically had with Andrew Berry in the last draft. So I mean, as much as we talked, I would hammer it down. But he didn't draft offensive linemen. He drafted 2 running backs, 2 quarterbacks, and that's just not the way you're going to build or continue to have a successful structured offense when all your guys are unrestricted free agents and you have nobody on the offensive line. So he's still our GM and he's got to figure it out. But man, what a boneheaded move.
Better figure it out pretty quickly. TK, I'm going to ask you this.
I'm going to talk forever. Sorry, TK.
No, it's okay. I don't think anybody. No, we're not worried about that. It's okay. I wanted to get your point or your viewpoint. I guess I can't talk. TK, 2-parted question. Would you? Okay, how about this? Would you rather have Marvin Harrison Jr. or Rashid Shaheed? And if it's Marvin Harrison Jr., what would you want to see the Browns give up for him? I mean, what are you okay with? I don't. You can't move 6. You can't move the 6th pick. You can't do that. That's not. I don't think that's reasonable. Maybe like the 24th and maybe a 3rd round pick next year or something. They're going to want a couple of picks because, like Ryan said, he's got a couple years left on that rookie contract. They're going to want something. TK, what do you think?
Well, in Marvin Harrison Jr., it all depends on what the Arizona Cardinals want. Anything higher than a 2nd round pick is an absolute hell no. I do love the pedigree that Marvin Harrison Jr. possesses. However, these 2 years have been underwhelming, to say the least. So there's a lot that goes into this. Obviously, you want to figure out what is the right type of capital that that they should receive in return for a guy like Marvin Harrison Jr. By no way, shape, or form is his career done in just over 2 seasons. So there's a lot more to be proved. At the same time, as for a guy that you could just go out and get for probably an AAV of around 12 or 13 million in Rashid Shaheed, I definitely think you would focus on getting some depth in that receiver room. He's obviously going to be the most consistent receiver out of all of the receivers that we've had. Yes, I understand Jerry Jeudy was a Pro Bowler last year with 1,200 in 2024. With 1,229 yards and 4 touchdowns, 13 fucking drops. But I do understand there was a Pro Bowl season squeezed in there somewhere. But Rashid Shaheed would most definitely be the most consistent receiver in this group, and he's going to get a lot of burn there. Don't think he's just going to be returning everything. He's going to be returning everything. But at the same time, we're going to give him some snaps at receiver as well. So I definitely think the value is greater with Rashid Shaheed. But if Arizona can bring themselves to accept a 2nd round pick or lesser for MHJ, then I definitely think the better choice for us in the long run is going to be getting Rashid Shaheed.
Yeah, I listen. I think that's a no-brainer. If they're going to take a 2nd or 3rd round pick for Marvin Harrison Jr., that's great. I think they're going to want a 1st round pick, but that's just
right.
me.
Right. That's the thing.
You get what you can, right? You get whatever you can get. Raul, this is like the Masked Singer. I'm going to guess Raul is actually Ray Farmer because a couple of comments says he misses the days of seeing Dwayne Bowe riding the exercise bike on the sidelines. And hold on, let's follow that up with he'd rather have Kenny Britt. That's Ray Farmer. Ray Farmer is in the comments. First of all, that Raul, you're Ray Farmer. You're not fooling us anymore. We know. We already know. Ray Farmer. No
Kenny Britt was Shashi Brown, Chad.
I'm just saying what, but Ray Farmer. No one.
Yeah, Chad.
Ray Farmer. Listen. You know what? I believe in this show. No one hated receivers more than Ray Farmer. It just reminds me of the Ray Farmer era where you just brought in like these reclamation projects that had no chance of ever seeing the field. So just that's what the comments were reminding me of. And TK and Ryan, before we move on, shut up. Anyway, let's get to Ryan Monster's big board. I'm done talking about free agents, and I'm done having you guys correct me. I don't care anymore. So we were going to talk about post-combine offensive linemen, but one of us is a moron, and it's me. I ran out of time. I didn't know. It's not you. It's me. Thought I was going to call you a moron. Just because you told me, I made a mistake. I don't care about that. I can be corrected.
This
I told
guy.
you I'm married. You know how it is. No, listen, we don't have time for offensive linemen today. So I want to talk about just a couple of defensive backs because we really haven't mentioned them at all. Corners and safeties. I don't necessarily think that this is a target for the Browns, but we've talked about Caleb Downs. If he's there at 6, yes, please, right? Like, come on. I don't know. I know they need offensive things, but adding one offensive weapon at the top of the draft does not make this a playoff team. So why wouldn't you build with the best player available and try to improve your team as much as possible? There are all kinds of other creative ways you could trade. You've got free agency. You've got the draft next year. This isn't a one-year rebuild. We know that. We're not going to go out there and retool the Browns and go 12-5. So let's look at Ryan Mosser's big board. No graphic, no giant bodybuilder, no skinny, whatever. Doesn't matter. No graphic. Ryan didn't like it. Ryan gets what he wants. Whatever.
Get out of here.
But yeah, give me a couple cornerbacks, a couple safeties that are at the top of your list, just according to your algorithm that you built.
Yeah. I mean, no surprise here. Caleb Downs. I'll go safety first, obviously, but Caleb Downs is my number one safety. He's actually my number one player on my big board too. I am just so high on Caleb Downs. A lot of people are worried about his ACL. I'm not. I'm telling you, I'm not. His film is beautiful. I mean, he plays the safety position with a level of control and clarity that makes the field smaller for an offense. He's, I think, a true hybrid, someone who can line up deep, slide into the slot, drop in, into robber looks, or fit the run from the box without ever looking out of place. He's the definition of a modern hybrid, I think. And that's exactly how he shows up on tape. He's not tied to one assignment. He's not the, connective tissue, he is the connective tissue that lets the defense stay structurally sound no matter what the offense throws at it. I think what separates him is how quickly he sees the game. His processing is elite, absolutely elite, specifically for his age. He re-stems early, he anticipates concepts, he adjusts his leverage before routes even declare. It's truly remarkable. He consistently identifies routes stems early, and that early recognition is what allows him to play faster than his time speed for sure. He's consistently a step ahead, and that anticipation shows up whether he's matching a slot, squeezing a window in zone, or closing downhill on a check down. In coverage, he brings a complete multi-layered skill set. He can body up tight ends, mirror quicker receivers, handle deep middle responsibilities with disciplined range. His transitions are very smooth. His eyes are always steady, and he rarely gets manipulated by play action or misdirection. He's not necessarily a pure burner, but he doesn't need to be. His angles, his stride, his efficiency, the ability to stay balanced through movement make him one of the most reliable coverage defenders in this class. Against the run, he's as clean as it gets. He plays square. He takes efficient pass. He finishes with controlled force. It's textbook tackling technique. And it shows, that he rarely misses on film. He rarely overruns. He rarely loses leverage. His black destruction technique is absolutely advanced, which allows him to slip. TK hates this right now, guys.
He doesn't want to hear
slip or shed without, giving up ground. And, his contact balance is also, lets him absorb force without losing his posture. I think the most unique part about his draft profile is, I think he's a corrector. He's the player who restores the structure of the defense when something breaks. When a corner loses leverage, he fills the blind spot. When a linebacker gets pulled out of the window, he's going to replace it. When a route combination threatens to overload a zone, he shifts, the geometry to stabilize coverage. He's someone who restores the structure of the defense when it begins to break, and I think that's the perfect encapsulation of his value. I can't talk today. I think he projects as the kind of safety who elevates everyone around him. He gives coordinators, the freedoms to disguise, rotate, be aggressive on concepts, because he consistently fixes problems before the explosive plays come. He's not a highlight chaser. He's the player who makes sure, that defenses is always right, even when the picture gets muddy. So I don't know. I love Caleb Downs.
Yeah, no, watching him for at Ohio State has been remarkable, and I obviously I knew about him at Alabama, but I didn't watch him as closely. But I watched.
He led Nick Saban's defense with tackles as a freshman. That tells you all you need to know about the dude.
Yeah, and that's not a defense that was getting blown up over the top. I mean, just sometimes you see the corners or safeties leading in tackles. You're like, oh man, they get blown up in the pass. That's not the case. He's just all over the field. He feels a little bit like you have 12 guys out there on defense sometimes. It makes you feel really comfortable with him back there. And I was going to ask you the early route recognition, and just his ability to get in and out. They think, I mean, that's just kind of like football IQ meets preparation meets experience, right? I mean,
Yeah.
He's got everything. He's the total package at safety.
He's got incredible attention to detail. I mean, Matt Patricia has gushed about how he's practically another coach in his defense when he was there. And I mean, and I think that's a testament to his leadership, his preparation, and just his football IQ in general. So
yeah, I'm really excited about the possibility of him still being there. And it's funny, and Ryan, this guy personally. You've had him on your show. A lot of people talk about Sincere Johnson and then coming linebacker as the same type of guy. Like that on-field general, another coach out there, just a really high football IQ guy. Great motor, good instincts, good, whatever. Good. I'm excited to see him in the defense as well. To see how he can progress under Matt Patricia.
Yeah, I think he'll be more of an Arvell Reese type. He's more of an edge linebacker hybrid, but nonetheless, like, just wait 2 or 3 years when this guy's going to be another name that's going to be a top 10 pick, because Sincere Johnson is the truth. I'm very excited. We'll see how he's obviously an incoming freshman. We'll see how he plays this year. Arvell Reese barely played as a freshman as well, but he's got all the physical tools and just as much IQ comes from Glenville, the same high school as Arvell Reese. I mean, it's like plug and play. I mean, Urlacher and Johnson over there have just. Man, I love this recruiting. I'm excited for Sincere Johnson, but yeah.
Yeah, I really love the idea. I just like that the Glenville pipeline is back.
For sure.
Ohio State. That's obviously it's been beneficial.
Yeah, they got another kid named Jameer Perez, a defensive tackle. He's 340 pounds, big dude. He was recruited to Florida, and they flipped him within a couple weeks. He's going to come with Sincere over to Ohio State. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch too.
Okay. Yeah, the reason I brought up Johnson, people talk about him the same way that they talk about, because obviously different position, but it's the football IQ, it's the leadership on the field, off the field, everything.
Absolutely.
He's talked about in the same light, and that's really exciting as a Buckeyes fan. So I wanted to bring him up and give him a shout out on the show as well. And again, I know you've had him on your podcast as well. Yep. So that was a great episode, by the way. Thanks. So big board. Any other safeties that stand out to you that maybe would be a fit or no? Just the Caleb Downs or bust?
At 6, Caleb Downs or bust. I mean, I think Aaron Jabari is going to use Caleb Downs as an argument to possibly trade back from 6 if he's there as well. He did the same thing with Travis Hunter last year. Unicorn, elite player. I'd expect him to do the same thing here. But man, ideal situation, we trade back someone else, and we still
got 12 and 20. So
we trade back and still get them somewhere at 12, or that'd be amazing. So that'd be. I think there's another first-round safety, Dylan Tiedemann out of Oregon. He's a second safety on my board, 16th overall player. I think he played. He's really good as well. He plays the deep part of the field with a very calm, measured presence of someone who understands, I think, the entire route picture before it truly forms. He's a true free safety, not a hybrid, not a matchup piece, not someone you move around to manufacture impact like Caleb Downs. But, his value comes from how steady and disciplined he is when the ball is still in the quarterback's hands, I think. I think he's a vision-driven, range-capable free safety who thrives in deep alignments. And that identity, I think, comes at snap after snap as well. I think what immediately stands out is how he processes the game as well. He doesn't chase movement or overreact, to window dressing or anything like that. He reads stems, quarterback posture, spacing cues, with quiet confidence. Letting the play declare itself, before he commits to anywhere. He's very patient. I think that patience allows him to stay over the top of vertical routes and close down throws that require hesitation from the safety. He's not sudden in the way of like a twitchy nickel might be, but he's consistently early because he understands rhythm in the play. I think he's very good in coverage as well. I think he's at his best when he's allowed to play with the depth and vision, handles split field responsibilities with ease, overlaps vertical routes without drifting, and maintains disciplined spacing that forces quarterbacks to work through their progressions as well. I think he's smooth athletically. He's not very explosive, but he's very smooth. He's got efficient strides. His hips are very fluid. His transitions are clean. He doesn't have to, doesn't have the kind of recovery gear that erases mistakes, because he also doesn't put himself in situations where he necessarily needs it. Sorry, I got children running above me. If you hear
That's okay. I love it. That's my favorite sound.
Yeah, my toddlers. I think the most defining part of his profile is his conceptual identity of being like a field interpreter. He wins by decoding the offense, reading the story of the play, understanding how route combinations are trying to stretch him, and then moving into position before the quarterback commits. He's very, very smart. I think he's the kind of free safety who rises the floor of a defense. He's not going to be a highlight reel guy either, but I think he brings reliability, communication, and deep field discipline that I think is going to be important for a team. I would not take him at 6. If safety's not necessarily a major position of need. I have a dinosaur yelling roar upstairs right now, apparently. If you hear that.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, that's my 2-year-old dinosaur upstairs. Nonetheless, I like him a lot. I think he'll be drafted probably before 20. But yeah, there's a couple safeties here I like.
That's what I was going to ask you, if he's a top 20 guy. And I don't know, maybe next week we can get the dinosaur on the show. We can see how he feels.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sounds like fun to me. I was going to ask, maybe he's a top 20 guy. It feels like a little bit of a reach in the top 15, 10, 15,
Sure.
whatever. Just with being a true safety. I think that's what, enhances Caleb Downs' profile, is the fact that he's so versatile.
Versatile, yeah.
Yeah, you just do so many things with him. And you can even, if you're in a pinch, he can return some kicks or some punts if you have to do that. I think he's, again, football IQ. He's just not a burner. He's not going to go out there and run a 4.28 or whatever and just outrun everybody. But I think he's smart enough to create some angles and get you some extra yards. And again, create some field position situations that are positive for an offense that's a little bit challenged. So sure. Every little bit helps. It's a game of inches, and anywhere you can gain a few inches, as most guys would agree, I think we'd be good, right? That was awful. We'll get off track there. Okay, so cornerbacks and TK. Any agreement on the safeties we've been talking about at all? You like the kid from Oregon? You like Caleb Downs?
Well, obviously, I'm biased as hell. I love Caleb Downs. I definitely think he's the best player to draft.
Yeah.
As far as Dylan Thiedemann, I think he's a good player as well. One of the best names in the draft for me, AJ Halsey from LSU. He's a pretty good player. Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, kid from Toledo, is pretty good as well. It's a very solid but unspectacular safety class, if I was to say so myself. Outside of number 2, I really don't see any guys that are going to be first-round players. You might get a couple guys falling in second round, but I think most of these guys are going to be day 2 guys and going onward.
Okay. All right. Ryan, how do you feel about the kid from LSU?
Kid from LSU. What was his name again, TK? Sorry, I'm going through my list here.
AJ Halsey.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I have him as my 7th overall safety.
Okay.
Not awfully significantly a big drop after number 2, like you said. After number 2, they go down a little bit. I think – let me get to them. Sorry. Get to my notes. The one thing about my notes are they're so not easily accessible. It's insane. I literally just scroll. So
no, my notes look like a crazy person typed them. I'm all over the place. Yeah.
I think I do like him. I think he projects as a safety who thrives, in the thickest parts of the formation, the places where space evaporates, angles compress, the outcome of the play is determined by who controls the density of the bodies around the ball. His defining trait is how he absorbs contact without losing balance. He can turn chaotic collisions into control stops. He doesn't just tackle; he regulates the physical environment of the play. I like him. I don't think he'll be a deep middle eraser that or the matchup specialist against elite separators, but he brings something equally valuable. I think a defender who stabilizes the most congested areas of the field by managing contact, leverage, physical density. He's a very physical player as well on tape. A system that values toughness, discipline, and a safety who can anchor the second level. He becomes a defendable starter who handles the dirty work and keeps defense structurally sound. So,
all right.
I do like
something that you mentioned when you were talking about Tiedemann. It made me think, if I ever open a bar, I am going to call it the Twitchy Nickel, by the way. That's funny. That's my thing. No, let's move on to corners because I would love to hear your top couple of corners. We're just running out of time. I wanted to get your take on Miami of Ohio. I don't know if we're going to have time to get to that today because I want to get your take on the top couple of corners, and we're going to take a break and come back and talk about what's on our minds.
Sure.
But yeah, give me your top couple of corners, and we'll kind of get going.
Yeah, Montel Delane is cornerback at LSU. Is my quarterback one. He's actually the fourth prospect on my big board. I really, really like Delane a lot. Delane, whatever. He plays the corner with the kind of poise and spatial awareness that makes timing-based offenses uncomfortable. Technician first kind of player, someone who wins with balance, leverage, anticipation, not necessarily raw athletic flash. I think he's a mere technician quarterback, one with match zone versatility, and that identity shows up in every phase of his game. He's the corner who stays patient through stems. His hips are always clean, and forces quarterbacks to hold the ball longer than play design intends, which is going to be invaluable for the defensive line and just as the pocket breaks down in general. I think his game is built on control. He doesn't waste steps. He rarely bites on pacing tricks. He never loses a relationship with the receiver. His footwork is measured and very efficient. I think it allows him to stay square longer than most corners can manage, and that patience is what lets him stay attached through multi-break routes, without needing elite recovery speed. He understands how to maintain his leverage throughout every rep, and he uses subtle body positioning to take away throws that quarterbacks want the most. His processing is absolutely advanced for his age as well. He identifies route combinations very quickly. Very good communicator as well, especially with adjustments, and understands how to redistribute leverage when formation shifts. But I think it's very important. My children are just tap dancing against the run. He brings competitive toughness and discipline technique. Like I said, he plays square. His angles are very efficient. He finishes with enough force to prevent extra yardage as well. He's definitely not like a heavy striker or anything like that, but he's very reliable and can maintain outside leverage, sheds with functional hand usage, and doesn't shy away from contact as well. Athletically, like I said, his hips are fluid. His transitions are balanced, and he has enough short area quickness to stay connected through breaks. His long speed is adequate rather than elite, I would say, which puts him a premium on his techniques. But his technique is exactly what allows him to play as a cornerback one at the NFL level. I think he understands how to win with positioning. His timing is great. His anticipation is great, and those translate cleanly to the NFL. I think he projects as a high IQ, scheme versatile corner with very, very much true quarterback one upside in the right system. His leverage control, anticipation, competitive temperament gives him, one of the most translatable profiles in this class at cornerback. He may not overwhelm with raw speed, but he's going to consistently break the rhythm of route concepts and force quarterbacks to make uncomfortable decisions for sure. I think he's the hallmark of the top tier coverage defender on this, in this draft. So.
Okay. First round guy then.
Yeah. I mean, I think he'll be top 10. I don't think he gets past Dallas. I think Dallas is 12. I could be wrong there. But yeah, I mean, if he falls to 24, Andrew Berry's gonna be licking his chops too. So.
Okay. All right.
And that's not a position of need. So.
No, I mean, yeah, but I think I think you just have to strengthen up as much as you can right now. You're not going to be, again, I mean, I'm going to keep saying you're not going to be able to fix this. I think they're aware, and Andrew Berry has said as much. They're not going to be able to fix this in 1 year. This is not a year where this offseason is the aggressive, free agent move off. It's not going to happen. So yeah, I think you do whatever you can to strengthen this team. And not bring in guys that 1 or 2 years. I mean, you bring in guys on rookie contracts. You've got them here for 4 or 5 years. TK number 2 is now in the studio. That's not a poop joke, by the way. But yeah, so as far as your next corner, let's get to your second corner really quickly, and then like I said, I want to get out of here. We got Cavs-Celtics coming up at 1. I know people want to see that. Yeah. Let's get your second corner. I'm curious to hear who it is and kind of how you grade him out.
Yeah, to be clear, corner is a very, very strong position in this draft. I expect a lot of first-round talent in corner specifically. My number 2 corner is Avion Terrell, cornerback out of Clemson. He's my 7th player on my big board, so he's also top 10. I have the third one is D'Angelo Pons out of Indiana. He's my 3rd. He's my 12th overall prospect. Another corner is my 15th overall prospect, and Brandon Sissy out of South Carolina. I mean, the very, very stacked cornerback draft here.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, talk about Terrell. He plays the boundary with a level of fluidity and competitive urgency that immediately jumps off the tape, I think. He's a corner who thrives in isolation, using his feet, his balance, and his instincts to stay attached to receivers who try to win with pacing and suddenness. I think he's a defender who thrives absolutely on the perimeter. I think you could throw him in an island and be very comfortable with him.
Okay.
His route recognition is really, really good as well. I think that he has the exact identity that brings a solid quarterback one to every rep. He's built for the modern game where corners must survive on an island without help and still challenge throws at every level. His movement skills are the foundation of his game. Transitions they're all very crisp. His hips unlock very cleanly, carries speed throughout breaks without losing posture, which I think is very important. I think he's twitchy, reactive style that lets him mirror releases and stay square longer than most corners his size. He has the ability to stay patient at the line, to avoid biting on early, fakes and force receivers to declare, and that's what allows him to win and press man despite being, he is the biggest corner in this class as well. Let's see how big he is. Sorry. Let me scroll up a bit. He is 6 foot 205. He's a big boy. So,
Okay.
In coverage, I talked about.
That's a converted running back, man. That's a big deal.
Yeah, he's a big boy. He's got great advanced processing for a young corner. He can identify, route combinations early. He's a great communicator as well. He's a leader on the field, and he understands how to redistribute his leverage as well when formations shift. I don't know. As a tackler, he brings very competitive toughness and reliable technique as well. I noticed he plays very square. His angles are efficient, and he finishes drives with enough force. He's going to prevent extra yardage, if not knock a dude back a few yards. He's got a great ability to generate turnovers. He set Clemson's defensive back record for forced fumbles in a season and a career. That's reflects his timing, his physicality, his awareness of the point of attack. I think, I don't know. I just think he's a momentum thief. He's the corner who takes away the route that keeps offenses on schedule. The quick outs, the slants, the rhythm throws that, quarterbacks rely on to stay ahead of the sticks. He disrupts timing by, staying attached through sems, sitting on breaks, forcing quarterbacks to hold the ball longer than their structure intends. And he doesn't just cover. He's going to interrupt the flow of the offense. I think he projects as a high-end boundary cornerback one, with upside and man match systems. Like I said, his blend of fluidity, processing, competitive toughness, and and he likes to hit, dude. He likes to hit. He forced the most fumbles in Clemson history in the season and career. He's got a translatable profile with potential to become a long-term starter. He may not overwhelm, with height, but he consistently wins technique, anticipation, the ability to steal the momentum from an offense. I think those are traits that are going to be wonderful and translate to Sundays. So,
okay, I'm a little intrigued because the Browns eventually are going to have to replace Denzel Ward.
Sure,
it's getting to that time. I mean, it's going to happen.
I heard they are going to restructure his contract again, so we'll see.
I think they did a little.
They already did.
Yeah, there was a little. They freed up like $2 million in cap space.
Ooh, nice.
Converted. So whatever into a signing bonus or whatever.
Right.
A little minor move that kind of went under the radar, but yeah, I did notice. I saw that yesterday. So we talked about that for just briefly, a quick moment on the show yesterday.
Sure.
But yeah, they did make that move. So a couple million is a couple million, right? Hey, if I could free up a couple million, I'd do it.
Well, not to mention, Martin Emerson Jr. Is coming off, and he didn't play all season last year. And as much as we love him, he's a big body. I think he is probably one of the best picks in the third round that Andrew Berry has had. But hopefully he comes back, and I think he's on a contract year this year as well. So
Okay.
we'll see what we have in him. But corner is going to have to be addressed soon. I don't necessarily think that unless one of these guys, like I said, I have my top 3 are my top 12. So if one of these guys drop to 24 or we trade back from 6, I mean, you never know what Andrew Berry is going to do. We didn't think that they were going to take a corner when they took Emerson. So, yeah. I mean, it will be a position of need Probably sooner than later, but I think Tyson Campbell was a fantastic trade this last year. Getting Greg Newsom's bum ass out of here. Excuse my language, but he sucks. Oh my gosh, I'm so tired of dude Eric retiring because the ball was overthrown. Bye bye. He sucks in Jacksonville. Tyson Campbell's a great piece and a piece that we're going to hold on for a couple of years. Because of his contract, but they could address sometime soon. What do you got to say, TK?
We need an SNL skit. We need an SNL skit of defensive backs just celebrating a throwaway. Right? You just throw the ball out of bounds and 5 defensive backs are on the field, like putting swords away, and we got to have it. I love it.
Yeah.
Were you gonna say something, TK?
You muted yourself, bud.
Yeah, I was agreeing with you with the whole Greg Newsome thing. Granted, I was a big Greg Newsome II fan early on when he started off on the boundary. I thought he was very above average. But yeah, with the whole, ball lies 15 yards over your head, your ass is sitting up here gyrating and shit, and you haven't done anything all damn game. That kind of, put a little pain in the nether regions a little bit, it's good to not have to see that goofy shit anymore. And I do think that Tyson Campbell is slightly better than Greg at this point in time, although I do think Greg Newsome II can snap back. Mm-hmm. You got to remember, I don't forget Greg Newsome II from 2021 and 2022. I don't forget that guy at all. The guy that moved into the slot and put extra cheese on the nachos with all that extra goofy shit he was doing on the field. Yeah, that's the guy I tend to try to forget. That's the guy I try to
bring up food and make me hungry. Why you gotta do that?
Well, I'm hungry as hell, Chad. I ain't
me hungry.
We gotta get out of here. Listen, we're gonna go break. First, I am gonna celebrate a receiver having 6 steps on me and the ball being overthrown by 20 yards by putting the sword away and maybe doing some air guitar for that break. We'll be back in like 5 on the Inside Edge Network. We're going to talk about what's on our minds. We'll get you out of here so you can go watch Celtics Cavs. Give us about 5 minutes. We'll be right back, guys. Hey, welcome back to the Inside Edge Network. We're going to talk about number 2 and what it can do for you. No. We're done. I promise we're done. We're done. We're going to get you to Celtics Cavs. It's not Ryan Muster's big board anymore. It's thank you for watching. We appreciate you guys. We've got over 200 people in here watching. And let's be honest, there's really not a whole lot going on in sports. I mean, we've got a Cavs-Celtics game today. That's huge. That's huge in Norwegian because I learned that during the Olympics. But other than that, just not a whole lot going on, right? It's all speculation. It's all draft smoke screen stuff. It's all whatever. We're talking football. We're talking, baseball's coming up. It's just like we're in a transitional period right now. Much like Jules was in Pulp Fiction. So we're trying to find ourselves. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to tell you what's on our minds really quickly. We're going to get out of here. And like I said, we're just going to let you go watch Celtics Cavs. But who wants to go first today? You guys have a preference? TK, you want to go first today?
Yeah, I don't mind. Mine is kind of lighthearted and stupid anyway, but it does have a little bit of merit to it. As I sit here and I watch the weather starting to get nicer, I start to think of the simple fact that there are YNs amongst us heavily. And a lot of these YNs enjoy indulging in dumb shit, violence, and other detrimental things that do not make being in any neighborhood feel pleasant or feel like something that somebody should be proud of. What I want people to do this year, take some time to learn to enjoy the weather. Just because it is 70 and the sun has decided to come out does not give you YNs the abundance to come outside and be menaces to society. A vast majority of you all are not like that to begin with. This is not a time to start. So please take your square ass on somewhere, learn how to enjoy the weather, stay your ass out of trouble, and let's have a good spring. Let's have a good summer here. Let's tone down on the dumb shit, tone down on the violence. That's all I got to say.
Seems fair to me, man. Ryan, what do you think? What's on your mind, buddy?
I'm here to tell you that daylight savings time is freaking stupid, okay? It's stupid. Daylight saving time is pointless because it takes something as basic as time and turns it into something twice a year that disrupts everyone, that nobody asked for and nobody benefits from. It throws off sleep. It messes with people's health. It creates problems that wouldn't exist if we just left the clocks alone. Research shows that shifting the clocks forward and backwards disrupts the circadian rhythms, increases car accidents, even spikes risks for things like heart attacks and strokes. I know that sounds stupid, but I'm trying to make my point here. Studies also show that, the consistent switching is worse for public health than simply sticking to one time year round. With permanent standard time being the healthiest option for most people at Stanford Medicine. The part that really bothers me is how unnecessary it all is. There is no modern justification for it. The energy saving argument is outdated. The economic benefits are questionable. The people openly dislike this whole stupid ritual, yet we keep doing it because the government insists on holding, onto a system that's been outdated for decades. It feels like, one more example of bureaucracy forcing everyone to adjust lives for no real reason at all. Even with, the science that says it's bad for us and public clearly wants it gone. If anything, it's the only thing, daylight saving time accomplishes is, it reminds us twice a year that people in charge would rather cling to tradition than fix something that's obviously broken. I got toddlers. I woke up too freaking early this morning and I'm pissed off about it, and we don't need to keep doing it. So that's what I have to say.
No, yeah, it wreaks havoc on your kid's sleep cycle, man. When we did it in the fall, my son woke up at like 4:30 a.m. ready to go. Stupid. And I was like, bro, no, it is Sunday. Go back to bed for at least 3 days, man. I'll see you on Wednesday. It's ridiculous. God. But yeah, I agree with you. I think it's stupid. I said at the top of the show, it's the dumbest thing we do. I don't get it. I don't necessarily feel it as much on today as I did in the fall. even though we lost an hour of sleep or whatever. But I don't know. I think it's, like you said, it's outdated, it's antiquated, it's stupid. I'd be good with moving on from it. Yeah, I guess the thing on my mind, guys, is listen, it's International Women's Day, and I know sometimes we like to fight about who gets a day and what day it is, and well, where's International Men's Day and where's White History Month? Shut up. Don't do this. Let people have their moment. Be kind to the women in your life. Love the women in your life. If you are a white male, especially, I don't care if you're mad at me for this. Do not ask when White History Month is. Don't ask when men's. Stop it, man. Quit. Let it ride. Let it cook. It's one day. It's 1 month. Chill out, man. Like I said, first of all, be kind to everybody in your life. But today, especially on March 8th, on International Women's Day, be kind to the women in your life. Your wives, your sister, your mother, your daughters, whatever. Your friends, whatever. Just be kind to the women in your life, please. And don't just do that today. Be kind to the women in your life every day. But man, seriously, stop the nonsense. Whatever. We're out of here. Thanks for watching us. We appreciate you. Again, we literally could not do this without all of you. So I do want to remind you while we're here, please follow us. We're on YouTube, we're on X, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter at Inside Edge Net on all socials. Your follow helps us. It matters. We see it. We notice it. Your comments in here, guys like Raul, man, in there with us the whole show, commenting. The silly stuff, it keeps us going, man. We appreciate you, but we appreciate all of you. So please go to YouTube, go to X, follow us so you can always go to Facebook now. We're also live on the Facebook page. So find us on Facebook, like, subscribe, whatever you have to do to be notified whenever we go live so you do not miss us. And also, we wanted to shout out the Commissioner's Couch. Ryan mentioned earlier, the Commissioner's Couch every Thursday night at 7 right here on the Inside Edge Network with David Cahoon. They're gonna teach you what you need to know to win your fantasy leagues, and that's important because you don't want to end up, wearing a weird jersey somewhere and saying I lost my fantasy league. So they're gonna keep you from being that guy.
Real quick with that, this week we covered first 2 weeks. This is our third week we've come back for season 2. The first 2 weeks we covered quarterbacks in the rookie draft. Go check that out. This last Thursday, we covered our top 6 receivers in this draft. We are also now streaming on every platform that you can think of for podcasts. We were just doing Twitter and YouTube, and now we're on everything. Spotify, Apple Music, and iHeartRadio, anywhere. Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, at the Commish Couch. Go check us out. We really appreciate all the love and support that we've already had and hopefully continued. So
that's amazing. It's a great show. You guys do a great job.
Thank you.
I have gleaned knowledge. I am not ready to enter a fantasy football league yet, but I think maybe one more offseason of watching the Commissioner's Couch, I might be ready to go, man. I might start challenging some people.
Yeah, we're working really hard. So
yeah, you guys do
really
an awesome job. And don't forget tonight, later on tonight, we got the main event. Rob Rozicki, Anthony Alford, Eli Moon, who was on our show today. Thank you to Eli for being here with us and talking a little Cavs-Celtics. That was fun. And then, Eli and I will see you, Monday through Thursday on Inside Edge Prime Time as well. I just want to put some of the shows. And if you want to see, I don't know. I want to toot my own horn or whatever, but I was actually on Real Talk with Papa Moon yesterday. I was honored that he would even consider me to be on the show. I had a lot of fun talking with him. So if you want to go see that, that's all over the Inside Edge Network as well. You can find that on YouTube. You can go watch yesterday's episode. I think it's episode number 18 that he's done already. So
nice,
man. It's crazy how far we've all come since August and talking about this thing and whatever. And I do want to remind you, of course, before we go, please go visit our sponsor, AlleyRoseFragrances.com. And for 20% off your entire order for first-time buyers, please use that code InsideEdge20. Capital I, capital E, all one word, InsideEdge20. You're going to save a lot of money on some phenomenal smelling candles, some really, really good body mist. You're going to, like I said, you're going to save money. You're going to help out a small business. You're going to help us out. You're going to help yourself out. It's International Women's Day. What better could you possibly do for the women in your life besides respecting them and being nice to them and loving them, but to go to AlleyRoseFragrances.com and to get them a candle, get them some body mist, get them one of every scent, man. Spoil the women in your life. Be good to them. But again, guys, we appreciate you. Remember, going forward, International Women's Day, we appreciate you. We'll see you next Sunday here on the Sunday Sports Show. Until then, we've got an entire week of programming. I mentioned some of it there. on the Inside Edge Network. So please stay with us, like us, subscribe, whatever you need to do to be notified when we go live. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next week here on the Sunday Sports Show. Bye, guys.